What if I told you this well right here contained living water? That if you took just one drink, you would be healed from disease and sickness? What if I told you that all your brokenness, your loneliness, shame, guilt, and fear, unworthiness, and unforgiveness would be cured and taken away if you just took one drink? That your purposelessness would be restored. Would you drink it? Picture this. Jesus sat right there next to this well, waiting, because he knew that she would be coming. She walked for miles on a hot, sticky day, the time of day where the sun was at its hottest, carrying a weight on her shoulders, a water jug filled to fill at this well. Water that not even would quench the thirst of the desires she had for freedom. A water that makes her just want to thirst for more, but wouldn't even wet her palate. She was an outcast, a nobody. Someone who went to the well to get relief from those who talked about her behind her back, shamed her to her face. Her culture even shunned her. The name calling belittled her to unworthiness. She was looked down upon by her own people. She had no value in herself. Married 5 different times to 5 different men, and shared a bed with the 6th. But Jesus still sat there, waiting, because he knew she was coming. And he still sits there waiting, because he knows that you and I are coming. This woman had fear, worry, stress, anxiety. Can you relate? This woman had physical pain. Her shoulders were aching because of the heavy weight. Can you relate? This woman had dark, deep secrets and pain. Can you relate? Sin is inevitable. All of this is sin. Same as a murderer. Same as being a thief. God did not create you to be full of dark secrets. He didn't create you to be in pain and hurt, sickness, unworthiness, loneliness, worry, doubt, stress, rejection. He didn't create us with a non-purpose life. No. He created us with a divine purpose. Not with a purpose of condemnation, but a purpose for a life, fulfilling relationship with Him, our Creator. Because you and me, all of us, we are worthy. We are worthy of His love. We are loved. We have been made in the image of a living God, a loving God. Romans 3:23 says, we all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. There is no one here pure and holy except God. So can you relate to this woman who came with her burdens to this well to find freedom? We are slaves to sin just as she is. Sin is inevitable because we are all born into sin. Romans 5:12 says that sin entered the world through Adam. Yep. It entered the world and brought death. And death spread to everyone because we all sinned. Sin strips us from our God-given purpose. It strips us from a loving relationship with God. It's called a sinful separation that keeps us from His goodness. God demonstrates His amazing love to all. And that while we were still sinners, He sent His Son, Jesus Christ. He died for us. He is the living, eternal water that quenches our thirst. The water that gives us eternal life. A life that's reunited with our created purpose. Jesus is still sitting there waiting. When she arrived broken, Jesus said to her, "Everyone who drinks from this water right here will thirst again. But the water I give them, they will never thirst, but have eternal life. It will well up in them like a spring." That's some powerful water. We don't have to die because of sin. We don't have to die because of sin. What is the gospel? The gospel is the good news. What is the good news? The good news is Jesus is sitting at that well, waiting for us. That's the good news. God Himself in flesh, sitting and waiting for us to drink eternal living water. He came sinless and took all of our burdens, our hurt, pain, and shame, the world's sin. He was beaten, flogged, and whipped by our sin. He was dragged to the cross and was nailed like a masterpiece, painting pierced through His hands and feet to a cross stained with His blood that washed us all clean of unrighteousness. He was the ultimate sacrifice for the world to be in right standing with a holy and loving God. Sin is death, and He died for all sin. He cried out from our pain and suffering. It wasn't His pain and suffering. It was ours. He called out, "It is finished." Sin is death, and He died for all of our sin, all of it. And if you think that it's not enough good news, well, there's actually more. Yes, he died an excruciating, painful, sinful death. But the good news is that he lives today. He conquered the grave. He conquered death in order for all of us to live an eternal life with him. God is calling each and every one of us to come to the well and drink the living water that Jesus offers. To turn from our sin and to turn to him. Jesus said, I am the way and the truth and the light. No one comes to the Father except through me. So what if I told you the only way to be free, and I mean truly be free, free to live eternally, free from sickness, pain, defeat, is to drink the living water? Would you drink it? The most significant part of this story is that she came to the well and drank the living water that Jesus offered. And she was so free that she left the water jug, the heavy water jug that weighted her down day in and day out. She left it. I could just see it spilt over on the ground with the water pouring out of it. The jug that lost all of its significance to the sin it was carrying. And she ran off in excitement to share the good news. This is the gospel. Jesus is still sitting right there, and he is still waiting at the well. Waiting because he knows that we will be coming.